Dear viewers at home, welcome to this morning's edition of the newspapers and OSBC TV. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. We have a lot of national dailies for review this morning, and the newspapers parade quite a lot of interesting national issues, as it were. My guest in the house is already seated here. I am talking about Barrister Kayode Adebisi, who will be taking us through the nitty-gritty of all that are contained in the newspapers this morning. Once again, you're welcome. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We want to start from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, and it parades this headline: Nigerian Tribune, disquiet in APC over Buhari's statement. It carries this. Let me say it again. President's successor, disquiet in APC over Buhari's statement. Your choice of candidate will jeopardize our chance. Stakeholders tell Buhari. NWC member wants party leadership on dangers of consensus candidate. Barrister Adebisi, how will you react to this, especially against the background of the fact that the president came out to say he will name his successor after the aspirants have gone through some hurdles of purchasing the form and going through the screening exercise, only for the president to now come and say yes, he has a successor, he has a preferred candidate among them.
Anyway, the democratic space is very tense, and if the party does not give common sense the necessary place, priority in this matter, it's going to make or mar their chances of winning the election. Because Mr. President has clearly said during his swearing in 2015 that it belongs to everyone, it belongs to nobody.
But now
so how now come that he now somersaulted and earth is west? That means Mr. President does not take the temperament of Nigerians into consideration, because the issue of presidency is not something you can call just party affairs. The person you are going to feed must be the person that is popular and generally acceptable by the party members, particularly the delegates who are expected to elect their flag bearer. So if they are not maybe conspired or coalesce some people and thinking that he will say true, people are going to rebuff him. PDP are choosing another. There is no way the APC will manage their affairs without taking into consideration the particular region their candidate must come from. So in this sense, it is highly expected that they should pick somebody from the south, particularly the southwest, because politics is about calculation and a number. It's a matter of game of numbers. And once they have the strong goal in the southwest, I don't think it will be very reasonable for them to go outside any of the zone in the south. So let us wait and see in the next few days. I think maybe the president will have a rethink. And the problem is that even the presidents will learn from the governors. Adam Osomole tried it in Edo State, imposed Yami, and they lost. I didn't mean that he allowed the level play to play out. They would not have screened out Obaseki. But what happened later? The person that they regarded as a dark horse actually surprised them, and he won his lesson. So the Rais will not take any candidate for granted that he can join. If he did that, as far as the president, the chairmanship of the party is concerned, well, but as far as presidency of the nation is concerned, it's the general consensus of Nigerians, and it should allow democratic process to take it normal course.
Yes. Before we go to the next newspaper, let's take this one a bit above the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune. We must unite to end APC misrule. Atiku Rally's PDP gets certificate of return. We must unite to end APC's misrule. Atiku Rally's PDP gets certificate of return. It's on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Barrister Adebisi, how will you react to this?
Yes, what do we expect Atiku to say? After claim the ticket,
Yes.
Definitely they will be strategizing on how to win the election. But the problem is that even within the PDP today, there is a crack. It's only that
Which is not in the APC.
there is also a kind of you can maybe not call it crack for now, but we can call it as a kind of disquiet. The satisfaction is there in the PDP, but that of a PDP is very glaring that having thrown their ticket open, a northerners will not hand over to another Fulani man. That's the general language in the town now. So it is inequitable, and this week he just pretentiously congratulated him, but in his own mind, he knew how he would surprise PDP.
Yes, let's go to the Nation newspaper now. And from the front page of the Nation newspaper, we have this banner headline: 2023 President, it's South's turn after Buhari says Ayade. Governor Ben Ayade has come out to say whether Buhari chooses his candidate or not. It is the turn of the South after him.
Yes, that's what I have been saying, that based on the level of tension in Nigeria today, and the fact that Mr. President also came as a result of the fact that the Southerner just finished his term, Jonathan then, that was why APC chose somebody from the north. They wouldn't have done otherwise by choosing another person from the south to face Jonathan. So this is just a convention, though not written down, but has become more or less an established political wisdom and law, whether we like it or not. Anything sort of that. We are even talking of marginalization now. We are talking of no government. That one will even exacerbate it and worsen the already tense situation in Nigeria. It has never happened that a region, the so-called population being used, being allegedly used, as being greater than any other part of the country, and you think that the people will just cooperate with that government. It will not work. This is not to threaten the north, but to let them see the reason why that it is when we have amicable and common belief and interest. That is why you can call yourself brothers. It's not a same whereby the winner will take all at all times. No, that's not. That is again the spirit of democracy.
Yes, we now go to the Guardian newspaper. APC stakeholders, Pandef, slam Buhari on successor charge. It has some riders. Tinubu supporters, Lukman, others reject plot for consensus. Tinubu joining SDP mere speculation, says Segmoni. It's absurd. There is no citizens' participation in selection process. Pandef. Melaye. It's abominable for Buhari to pick his successor in a democracy. Ndume. Buhari in order should be interested in who succeeds him. These are conflicting comments from Nigerians over the wish of the president to single-handedly pick his successor when people have taken forms, when people have gone through screening. Yes. Your comment on this?
It's just to me now, just to test the waters, to actually get the reaction of the people from Nigerians and the people within the party. Because who are you going to pick as a contested candidate? And the law stipulates that all the aspirants must agree. That's the electoral hearts. I don't know how they are going to blush that one away, blush it aside, and go ahead. It will cause a lot of legal fiasco and problem for the party. The best thing is for the indirect election to take place, and if possible, if the presidential aspirants that the president wants is marketable, then the delegates may be persuaded. But for you now to say you unpick as if you are in a plenary or as if it's a matter of appointment, no, it's very dangerous, not only for the PDP but even for our democracy to survive.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. We go to the leadership newspaper now. On the front page of the leadership newspaper, we have this. APC frontrunners, Tinubu, Osinbajo, Lawal, Amechi, Bello, 4 others may be shortlisted. APC kick against consensus option as Buhari tips Osinbajo as party's flag bearer. Southeast leaders back Lawal for presidential ticket. Now, can you see there is conflicting interest here too?
Even the so-called Southeast leaders, let me start from that. They are just deceiving themselves. You should go and write it down. Every Igbo man and woman will massively vote for Labour Party, Peter Obi. Because you have already marginalized these people within the PPDP since 1999. Yeah, APC Eastern leader now saying that they are adopting Lawal.
In the APC, they were not marginalized.
Maybe they are Northeast leader, not Southeast within the APC. Maybe it should be Northeast, not Southeast.
Southeast leaders back Lawal for presidential ticket.
Those ones, they are just joking. They are joking. So there is no way that even within the National Working Committee of the APC, they are divided. And that's why I said the other time that chairman will be removed after Buhari. He just appointed for the purpose of this particular interest of the president. After that, they will use him out. But I don't see them succeeding in this sort of consensus. Let them go to the level. I think PDP, you have been saying they are not democratic. Everybody now saw that their convention was peaceful. Let the APC that calls itself progressive, let them see the progress. They want to demonstrate to the whole world.
We go to the Punch newspaper now. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have this one. APC school, governors divided over Buhari's succession plan. Screening report ready. There are riders, which I would like to take. Picking a successor risky will rubbish president's legacies. Northwest Vice Chairman. President won't impose candidate, says Uwajuba. Osinbajo group back consensus. Akande Oshoba to meet Southwest governors. Tinubu group won against wrong candidacy. These are ominous signs that people are have already taken sides in APC.
And it's normal, because take sides, we have different opinions. But as far as the issue of presidency is concerned, Mr. President cannot dare say he wants to have his own wish. He cannot impose his wish to the 40 million members of the APC across the country. And also, which legacy itself Buhari want to the other society to perpetuate? Is it legacy of appointing only the Fulani as to the KK sector, that when it comes to voting, you trust other region, but when it comes to appointment, you don't trust other region for appointment? Is that legacy we want them to perpetuate? The lesson that is coming next year is, unfortunately for even the APC president, whether from Southwest, is going to be another body, a backlash on that candidate, because people are voting in terms of what even Buhari did to a particular section of the country. Notwithstanding the merits and the benefits and the intelligence of the APC candidates. So that is why they should not worsen the situation by even imposing the Buhari candidate that will continue to perpetuate the legacy of sectionalism, nepotism. It cannot work.
From the Vanguard newspaper, APC stakeholders rail against Buhari's bid to pick successor. This is a concerted effort, maybe to convince the president to remove his hands from picking a successor himself, to himself.
As I said, he just wanted to test the reaction of the people. If Osinbajo, for example, is your preferred aspirant, recommend, instead of saying I'm picking, let the delegate now pick.
Maybe because
recommend.
Maybe there is a misuse of language there as you use recommend, he is using picking, and maybe if he had been more diplomatic by saying he would recommend, maybe that would have been better.
No, the military in the man sometimes will betray him from being sarcastic or being euphemistic. We want to be direct. It's only the parts we have within the public domain. There are other parts we don't know.
Let's agree.
So if we assume that it's only recommending, then let the delegates in the indirect election within the party primary, let them decide whether Asiwaju is eligible, whether the Asiwaju is the best, whether any other candidate is also the best. Let the people decide. At least you refuse to sign the automatic delegate, believing that the particular aspirant may have more supporters. So it's only the elected delegate. Having spent a lot of money and having collected 100 million naira from these people, you now turn around to say you are only picking. Are you picking somebody to be installed as a valet of a particular place, or just a chieftaincy? Just because you have a chance, you are opportune to be in that position. If you are to be in that country, Buhari will not be qualified, because most of us are disappointed in him as a person.
Well, this day newspaper is the next port of call. We are still talking politics. This time, let's go to the PDP. Atiku received certificate of return, says there is much to be done. Having come to realize that it is not yet Uhuru, the former vice president, who is now the presidential candidate of the PDP, is quoted here as saying there is much to be done.
There is much more to be done, because you have to convince the Nigeria that you don't have an agenda by installing a Northerner as candidate in the PDP. Just because you want to say the so-called rescue. You have also feed another. You have also feeded another party member now, who is not from the not other part of the country. Why is it only the Northerner? So there is much more to be done to convince the other regions who are not Northerners that you will carry them along. But it's difficult because Buhari has established certain institutions, certain practices that it will be difficult, if not somebody that is courageous, that can change it in Nigeria. Because it is very glaring. There is no unity, there is division along the ethnic and religious line. When Buhari just came, within just 7 years. Look at this of this herdsmen killing all this time. You have never had any herdsman being arrested and prosecuted. That they are pursuing people like Sunday Igboho, like Nnamdi Kanu. Why are you not balancing the situation? So it's very unfortunate.
We now go to this. We are still on this day newspaper. Anyway, presidency, APC still divided on zoning. Malls option to face Atiku. Some governors want to go south. Adamu prefer north. Party may reopen sale of forms to broaden choices of candidates. Moves to encourage El-Rufai Zulum to join race.
They cannot go beyond the INEC deadline, and that is on the 7th. So for them to reopen and the selling point just to make more money.
You remember the INEC extended.
It's because of the ruling party. If not for the ruling party, INEC would not have extended that deadline. So we have people like Asiwaju. I always say his non-ramification is not a competent in terms of experience, who have been in the 20s for over 30 years. So we are doing all this because of one man, your party. And the will of people will prevail. If they actually want to do equity, you cannot make history of APC complete without mentioning people like Bola Ahmed Asiwaju. You know how they formed the merger within that sort of people and they torpedoed the then ruling party. So it is time for them to pay back. Notwithstanding some morals from the southwest that we people know that they will not succeed.
Before we close on today's edition of the newspapers, let's take this one from the Daily Trust, from the front page of the Daily Trust. It's a minor piece, a little below the masthead. APC PDP post-primary crisis hit states.
Of course, the post-primary of the APC is getting tense and tense every day. So, and we are going to see more drama till the end of the primary. So, and a lot of things will happen if it is not carefully managed. there will be a kind of implosion within the party, because we are talking of the president of Nigeria. Is the very sensitive office, not only for Nigerians, but outside the country they are watching. And once you don't get it right, I pray that may not be the beginning of the people who are calling for self-determination or breaking away from the country.
Before we go, let me take this one. Kwara reopens school, reaffirms use of hijab. Your reaction?
Well, I don't think the matter ought to go to that level in the first place, because it's a public place, and when we read our constitution very well, it's allow individuals to express their religious belief in public place. So far, does not affect your own right. If they say they want to wear hijab, as we have in Osun State, it's very peaceful. Let these children face their education. Let us see that they are very proficient. All this where to wear or what to, God will not judge you by what to wear, but your conduct. Some people will wear something nice outward, but inside they are other things entirely.
Yes, this is the confidence spot to draw curtains on today's edition of the newspapers and OSBC TV. My guest has been Barrister Kayode Adebisi, who has been taking us through the technical nitty-gritty of all that we have analyzed on today's edition of the newspapers on OSBC TV. On behalf of Oluwatoyin Yusuf, who is the producer of the program, and Akinola Owolabi, the executive producer, Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Good morning.